thank you very much for coming on the show today. I'm welcoming Njambi Njoroge, who is the Operations Director of Grassroots Economics Foundation in Kenya. So, Njambi, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
So I think I didn't do a good job with your surname there. Do you want to say it again so people can actually hear your name from?
Yes, my name is Njambi Njoroge.
Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. So you're here at the HackSecret House in Denver to give a talk on women in blockchain.
Yeah.
So tell me, you come from Kenya. Tell me a little bit about your background and your career and how you got into this whole blockchain.
Amazing. Yeah, so I come from Nairobi. And that's where I grew up with my parents. And I have 3 siblings. So I joined Grassroots Economics 6 years ago. And this after I saw an application online. I went through what Grassroots Economics was doing, and I loved the fact that...
Did you have a degree or anything?
Yes. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah.
So, yeah.
My undergrad is in community development. So it's been a passion of mine to work with the community and really to help change the situations on the ground. So going through Grassroots Economics Foundation's website, I saw, they were actually working to help communities and the community members getting impact immediately. Like, it was amazing to know that I felt nice to know that such an organization is out there, like bringing, impact immediately.
So Grassroots Economics Foundation, is it technology or is it everything?
It's basically more of a training and a technology organization. Yeah, so we offer tech services and training services.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it based just in Kenya or is it across the other countries across Africa?
It's actually based in Kenya. We work with community members in Kenya and even beyond, but the main organization and offices are in Kilifi, Kenya.
And is it a for-profit or is it a commercial organization or a not-for-profit?
It's a non-profit. Okay. Yeah.
And how is it funded? Is it funded through government or through fundraising? How does that work?
Okay, fine. For a while, we've been fundraising, but since we joined Celo Blockchain, stakers have been staking into our nodes, and when they get their percentage in APR, annual profit return, we get part of the fees to pay for our tech and admin. Yeah.
So for you as a person, are you you're not doing the training, but people are coming up through the Grassroots organization and they're being educated and trained and mostly in tech. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. So what we've been doing is working with partners like Kenya Red Cross that gets what we do, the training itself, and they would go out and train communities where they are, and any other partner. So ours is to make sure is to really give our training to other partners to take it up and make sure other people are using the tech.
And do you have to provide them with hardware and stuff like that, or is that part of your remit?
Yeah, we provide them with everything, but we make sure that they are well equipped to run with it.
And the people that come through your organization, what happens to them next? Do they go out and get jobs in the private sector or the public sector?
So maybe I should talk about it a little bit just to get the background of the whole thing. So the project that we're working on is called commitment pooling. It's an economic protocol inspired by indigenous wisdom. So when I talk about indigenous wisdom, I'm talking about how, communities were working around mutual aid, which is mostly rotation of labor associations. So in Kenya, many communities, like almost all communities actually used to do this practice, rotating labor. We've come even to realize that it's a global practice, like it was there everywhere before. And in Kenya, it's not that long ago because I saw my grandmother do it. What they would do is my grandmother would call upon her neighbors to come and build her house. So all her neighbors would commit. They would make commitments and they would all come and fulfill the commitments after, in my grandmother's house. So that means my grandmother will be indebted to everyone else in her community.
Yes.
So that means if her neighbor would call upon all of them to come and help till the land, my grandmother would have to go to fulfill that debt.
How does that work? That sounds absolutely fascinating. Yes. Let's say, for example, your neighbor says, I need my field tilled, but perhaps you've got fields to till. So how do you juggle your responsibility to your own property and to the community? How does that work?
Yeah, so before, how they would do it, they would have like a governance sitting, and it would happen like under the... So before, the sitting in Mijikenda community where offices are, because they all have local languages, they call it a tome. So Thome would happen at family level and at community level. So at family level, the father would sit with his son around a fireplace and they would discuss. They would teach the sons how to, how to lead life, how to become man, how to do things. Then the wife would sit with the girls in the kitchen cooking, and that's where they would learn how to become like good women. So now, community level, they would have sittings, like where community members would be invited to come and talk about matters community. And they would discuss like what issues do we have and how do we tackle them. So the same thing with groups, women groups. So they would sit and decide, come up with all the projects that each one of them individually have in their homes. So then they would prioritize according to perhaps the current reality, like what do they have, what do they need, is it doable at this particular moment? So they would all get a turn, and they would balance out all the debts and start over again.
If only society worked like that elsewhere in the world. Yeah, that is very civilized, isn't it?
Exactly.
You're all discussing what needs to be done in the community,
yes,
and prioritizing. So that, you need to do your grandmother's house this week,
yes,
neighbour's field the week.
Yes, yeah.
So how are you bringing that into the grassroots? Since thank you for explaining how the community,
how it used to work. Yeah,
that's very clear. Yeah. How does it work at grassroots, and how does that?
So, yeah, Grassroots Economics Foundation is helping formalize these commitments and offerings. Like, we know everybody in a community has something to offer one another. It could be my tilling services. It could be my childcare services, or a good maize, beans, all these things. So making sure that all these commitments and offerings have been formalized to become like gift vouchers, like all, vouchers themselves. So that means formalizing is just adding technology and making sure that they have a value. They have a unique signature. They cannot be copied. You can redeem them at the issuer. So if I'm holding your voucher, and maybe I got it from someone else, I can redeem it at you.
So at your place. Automating
it's actually automating what has been there, not reinventing anything.
Yeah, it's clever because it works. Obviously,
it does.
This is a bit more formal, and people can perhaps, is it on the blockchain?
Yes, it is on blockchain.
So you can see this.
You can see all
your house, but you didn't.
And I would love it. I would love to show like the exact transactions on our dashboard, Sarafu.network. When you click on it, you can see all the transactions that have happened on a particular day in a particular place, and then there's a slot for reporting where people get to click and write all the things, all the activities built, all the things built, like how many houses, how many farms tilled, like the impact, you can see it. So transactions equals all the reports that are being sent on the blockchain.
That's huge information and data for the community.
Yes.
So nobody can say if there's a record of what's happening.
Yes. It's actually really nice because after the end of a cycle, when they sit down and we get to read for them all the things that they did in a particular cycle, they're amazed themselves. Like, they've been doing it, but in their heads, they don't really keep track. And then you're reading for them and telling you actually tilled 10 farms. You made 3 houses. You in a span of 3 weeks. So
that is interesting. Well,
mind-blowing.
What type of sort of geographic space? How big is a community? Is it how many families would be in there, or is there? How do you measure it?
So what we do, we work with already organized groups, and most of these groups are women groups. So an organized group would have around 15 to 20 people, and these are people mostly living in one area because they mostly do the rotation of labor. We call it Mweria. So they have to be living in one locality. So 20 to 50. So you might find like in a village, you'd have like 5 groups of women, and who would also meet together later during a market day. So you see all these vouchers, the formalized commitments, transacting with one another, bringing the aspect of interoperability. So
question for you is interesting. We know that women often organize communities, and what you're saying is that mostly women are involved with this. Who does the actual labor itself? Is it mixed across gender? It's not just a woman doing the work as well, is it?
Yeah. So, we're trying to really bring back what used to happen before. And this rotation of labor associations, we used to work for everyone. Like, the men would participate, the children would participate, everyone. In fact, you would not get to eat that day if you would not participate, because lunch would be after the actual activity. So after building the land, you're the one who will cook for us. So that's where food would be. And that's how it used to happen. Even right now, we're trying to make sure that, everyone is involved in it. so like where mostly men, because we work with organized groups and most of them are women. So how we get to bring in the men and the youth and the children is when you're talking about community projects. So community project, we try to invite everyone. The committees themselves are the ones inviting the village elders, inviting the chiefs, inviting the husbands. And it's normally an overnight thing because that is how it used to happen before, with a fireplace characterized by music, storytelling, and then now bringing in heads together to discuss like what projects can we do for this community and which ones do we prioritize, and having everybody participate. So yeah.
So another question, a bit of a different question. How does money work and all that? Or does the community work on, do people have jobs that bring in money separately, or do they get paid within the community outside of the actual, barter system, if you like?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say like whenever they're rotating labor, when we come to my house and they build my house, I will pay them using my commitments, which are tokens. Yeah. Okay. So at the end of the day, number one, they get to save a lot of Kenya shillings. Perhaps I'm making more money from somewhere else. I will get to save that to get some secondary needs like healthcare, education. I can now pay for that comfortably. Number two, all these commitments, what you're doing as Grassroots Economics is putting them into a nice pool, a pooling system where so that pool enables curation. So what kind of commitments or offerings do we need? And it enables exchange. So that means that I can put in my commitments and take any commitment that is inside the pool. And then it enables valuation. So it means like your services might be a little bit higher than mine. So how many of my commitments should I pull to get one of yours? And then, I think those ones. So, so that means the same pool can also accept dollars. Okay, so you can put in $dollar or put in SDT inside the pool. And then I can use my vouchers to pull out some of that. So like anyone who would want to support can seed into the pool using your Visa, and it's completely converted into the pool, and people can access money.
Very interesting. I love when you're taking technology and you're automating something that works.
Yes.
It works for the
in that.
Yeah. And actually, it's nice because you think about it in the Western world. People get huge mortgages to build.
So, exactly.
They have the weight of debt on their neck for the rest of their grown up.
Yes,
but here, community helps you build your house, so that's the less thing to worry about. Really cool. So as I said, you're here at the Hack Secret House in Denver. What are you hoping to achieve from coming here to East Denver?
Okay, fine. Number one, making lasting partnerships and really getting people to start their own pools from where they are, because I think that's the future. When we come together and create a pool of all our offerings, we will be safe in that aspect, and we'll be helping one another grow. And then pools can also interact with other pools. So we can create a small Denver pool and another Boulder pool and another, and then eventually we can be one big community of all the offerings and services that you have.
Because it doesn't have to be building a house. It could be cross-border.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
It could be anything, exchanging technology services. Yeah, there's just a lot to need from one another. And there are awesome builders that, have met, and I'm thinking would need some of your services, and maybe themselves are also, blown by maybe what I'm doing or what you're doing. And they feel like, they can, if we'd be in an area where we can easily exchange these services together, then we'd really grow together.
Cool. Well, if you find partnerships here, I really like the idea, because people often want to disrupt, it's disruption, but if you have a system that works in a community, now you're just putting it, you're automating and making it transparent and mutable.
Exactly.
The blockchain.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. So
thank you. Great trip here at ETH.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.